What would it truly be like to take shrooms and meet the 40-year-old version of yourself on your trip? That would be pretty wild. This concept is amazing. Beyond that, I'll say this. I think I got my hopes a little too high as far as thinking this movie was going to be more comedy than drama. It takes itself a lot more seriously than I thought, but the more that this movie sits with me, I understand why. And I think they made a good decision in doing so, because this is actually some pretty deep shit they're getting into here. This, ladies and gentlemen, will be one of the most underrated gems of 2024, because as far as a coming-of-age story goes, it's damn good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is My Old Ass. Hey guys, it's your guy in the chair here, and look, this is my review for My Old Ass, starring Maisie Stella, Aubrey Plaza, Maddie Ziegler, Percy Hines White, and was directed by Megan Park. And our story follows a young girl who goes on a shroom trip with her friends, and while her friends are tripping balls, she essentially has a trip where she meets the 40-year-old version of herself. And of course, that raises the question to ask, just what the heck would you ask yourself if you met the 40-year-old version of yourself? And this just plays out on that premise very well. And look, the best way I can describe this movie, I know that was a pretty quick way to just sum up the plot, but that's all you really need to know, is that this girl takes shrooms, she goes on a trip and meets the 40-year-old version of herself. And I'll say this, while that premise is absolutely golden, and I thought this movie was going to be a lot funnier than it was, it takes itself so much more seriously, but that is because it is truly trying to really get through a message of appreciating the time that you have now, instead of looking so far ahead and towards the future and trying to get out and trying to just live your own life and be free and be away from your parents and stuff like that. Especially, it hits really hard for those in that 25 to 29 age range, even those kids who are just necessarily going off to college and literally just trying to grow up and get away from everything that they were in before they got to college and things like that. It's such a hard-hitting message, and that's why I really do appreciate this movie for taking itself as seriously as it did, because the more I think about it, the more that I feel like if the movie was more funny than anything else, it would have kind of took away from that message. And the ending of this film is the strongest representation of that message, and I truly didn't even understand what I was truly watching until the last 15 minutes of the film itself. Look, basically, to run through the events of this movie and how it goes, she meets her 40-year-old self, and her 40-year-old self continues to tell her that, or tell her younger self that she needs to stay away from this boy called Chad. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself the entire movie, this Chad dude is an asshole. He did something so fucked up, she shouldn't be talking to him, but I'm watching her pursue him anyway and fall for the kid. And then there's a moment that happens in the last 15 minutes of this movie that is a complete gut punch, because I did not care for Chad at all until the last 15 minutes. So it completely rewired everything I just watched. And there is a portion of this movie where Aubrey Plaza is literally telling her younger self to please, spend time with your mom, spend time with your brothers, like appreciate what is going on now. Stop looking so far ahead into the future and just what you think you're going to be getting into at that point in time, because life doesn't always work out that way. This is not how life happens. And I truly loved watching Maisie Stella grow. Like you can see her character growing a lot throughout this movie, and even though she has a lot more growth to do, it's also a great testament to sometimes the older versions of ourselves don't always know best. We have to go back and listen to our younger selves, and because that's when we were more free or carefree and we lived a little more and we just didn't necessarily care so much about what other people think. And it's just a great dynamic of back and forth, how your younger version can teach your older version a lot of stuff about you, and how going in your older version, you can definitely teach you a lot about where you come from and where you've been. And it's just a great dynamic. It's a great way that this story was told. Also, Margot Robbie and her husband Tom Ackerley produced this. Shout out to them, because Margot Robbie is killing the producing game. But look, man, no, this movie was truly special. It's like it's definitely one of those movies that's got to sit with you, at least for me, because my expectations were through the roof. I thought this movie was going to be so much funnier than it was. But there is a sequence in this film that is literally for Bieber fans, and I am a big Bieber stan, and I absolutely love that. That was one of the most pleasant surprises of 2024. That I I don't necessarily want to spoil it, but look, if you're a big Justin Bieber fan, there's a moment in this movie that had me singing out loud. I didn't give a damn who was in that theater with me. I was jamming the fuck out. I felt like I was on a shroom trip myself. I would love to listen to that song on shrooms. This movie, I will say, while I did not appreciate it as much the first, I'll say my first watch, now that I've let the movie sit with me, the more I think about it, the more I understand that message really needed to be shrouded around a very serious tone so that people could understand that this is a true coming of age message that really hits home if you pay attention to what's going on. And honestly, I feel like the more you watch this movie, the more you get out of it. Yeah, this is basically going to be one of those movies where this is going to be, for me, I'll compare this movie to The Edge of 17, which I don't think a lot of people truly understood when it first came out. But like, the more you watch that movie, the more you actually spend time with what Haley Steinfeld was doing in that movie, the more you'll understand just how amazing it is. And I think that's the same thing with My Old Ass here. To complement the two leads in this movie, Maisie Stella and Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza is absolutely amazing no matter what she does, in my opinion, but she in this movie was so good. And honestly, I thought there was going to be more of a back and forth dynamic between these two. They really let Maisie Stella do a lot of the heavy lifting during a period of this film, and it's awesome because you get to spend time with this character as she is at this age and as she's trying to grow and get away from making mistakes, and she's trying to just be so cautious so she doesn't mess up her future and stuff like that. And it's great to see because that's literally how a lot of us live our lives every single day, just being so cautious, being so scared to do things, being so scared to live, and it prevents us from being able to feel and being able to do things that'll make us feel alive, and instead just be dead and feel like we're just, wanting to hide all the time. This movie is amazing. Maisie Stella was sorry, I was trying to get my words together. I got stuck there for a second. Maisie Stella was tremendous. She was absolutely a gem in this movie. Her and Aubrey Plaza's chemistry, as far as them playing older and younger versions of each other, amazing. They did so well. You can easily tell that these two possibly could be the same version of each other. And beyond that, the guy who played Chad, Percy Hines White, like I said, I spent a majority of this film hating the Chad character because of what I thought was going to happen with this Chad person, and then the last 15 minutes completely changed my mind. Shout out to Percy Hines White because he played the role so well. It was literally, I could not stop thinking to myself every time I saw this kid, I'm like, what asshole thing did you do? What did you do to break this girl's heart? What did you do to make her so fucked up? And Aubrey Plaza does such a great job of having that pain behind her eyes. It's beyond just what you see, just, from what you see like physically from her. It is the pain behind her eyes, what she's hiding the entire time that you just can't escape from. And every time you see Aubrey Plaza's character, no matter what emotion she is expressing, you can still see that pain behind her eyes, carrying that burden the entire time, trying to protect her younger self from that truth. And once it comes out, it hits like a fucking train, and it is so good. It is so good. Like, this movie truly shocked me when it got to that last 15 minutes. The last 15 minutes made everything so much better. My Old Ass is one of the most pleasant surprises of 2024. It is one of the best coming-of-age films that I've personally seen since Edge of 17. It is worth all of your time. Maisie Stella is an up-and-coming star. I hope to see her in so much more. I hope Aubrey Plaza does more movies like these, or at least I hope people start to create more coming-of-age movies, because we need those in these days and day and age. But overall, guys, My Old Ass it has funny parts, but it truly takes itself a lot more serious than I thought. And I am actually more so appreciative of it now than I was when the credits rolled in this film. I truly think the more I watch it, the more I will be appreciative of how the story was told, why it was told. And for all those reasons and so many more, guys, I'm going to give My Old Ass a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, guys, so My Old Ass, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff and so much more. Look, this is your guy in the chair. More content coming to you soon.